Here is the donning and doffing and decontamination procedure of the Phantom PPR 2000. Part 1. You enter the clean end of the decon unit with your equipment. You proceed to a visual inspection of the equipment out of the storage box. You also check the battery, focusing on the connector pin. You check the battery belt and buckle, making sure these are in good condition. You then take the mask, checking the seal for any holes or scratches. You also check the exhalation valve. You check the mask harness and buckles, looking for any debris. You then remove the visor protection and check the visor, ensuring there are no scratches or cracks. You check that the PPR 2000 motor is in good condition and that the filter gasket in the front port is in place. You take the battery, remove the red cap and connect the battery to the mask cable to check that it is operating correctly. The battery should be fully charged. You then mount the battery onto the belt. You take a brand new filter, you check the label marking, check due date, barcode, CE marking, protection level and serial number. Unwrap it and check the thread. You tighten the filter to the mask using 3 fingers tightening pressure. You check that the filter is in place by breaking the small pin on the filter. You switch the blower on by locking the cable onto the battery. The motor in the mask starts. With the flow meter provided, you verify the airflow, holding the flow tube vertically below the filter attached to the mask. The bore within the tube should easily reach the green area, indicating that the airflow of 160 litres has been achieved. You proceed to a final check and complete the equipment checklist. Part 2. You take the red coverall category 3 type 5/6 from your locker. Take off your home clothes and put on the disposable underwear. You then put on the red coverall. You put on the PPR 2000 belt and then mount the battery onto the belt. You fully undo the mask harness and put on the PPR 2000 mask, ensuring the head straps are not twisted. Put the chin into the inner mask first. Put the straps over your head and tighten the bottom 2 straps first. Then the middle and finally the head. check yourself in the mirror, making sure no hair is trapped into the seal. You make a few head movements to verify the seal fitting. You proceed to a leak test. You put your hand over the filter opening. You breathe in until the mask seal tightens and fits to the face. You hold your breath for 10 seconds. If the mask is still tight to your face, the seal is good and no apparent leak is present. You connect the battery cable to the battery. The PPR 2000 motor starts automatically. You put on the coverall hood. With the help of a co-worker, you put on the glove and tape around the wrists, holding the gloves tightly. You check yourself one more time in the mirror and adjust the hood. You take the battery cover with the red cap with you and leave it in the shower area. Moving to the dirty end of the decon unit, you take a brand new transit coverall. You put this white coverall over the red coverall and the PPR 2000 battery. You put on the transit shoes and move out of the decon unit. Part 3. You enter the airlock area composed of 3 stages. In the first stage, you take off the transit white coverall as well as the transit shoes. You securely place the white coverall into a bin bag. In the second stage, you put on your wellies, making sure the red coverall is over and covering the boots. You go through the third stage, making sure everything is in place in that zone for the decon process, a bucket, sponges and wipes, and enter the work area. Part 4. At the end of the shift or at the end of the day, you will go through a thorough decontamination process. The first phase is the vacuum process. With the help of a co-worker, meticulously vacuum your red coverall through a hose and a brush equipped with a H-type filter. Pay specific attention to the mask and the PPR 2000 unit, vacuuming the battery, the belt and the cable. Finally, you also vacuum the boots before entering the first stage of the airlock. In this area, you wash your wellies with a sponge and a bucket of full water. You clean your mask with a wipe from a water bucket, still keeping the mask on your face and the PPR 2000 running. take off the PPR 2000 belt and wipe down the battery and buckle in detail. In the second stage of the airlock, you take off your red coverall, rolling it down inside out to keep the particles trapped and carefully throw it away into a bin bag. You also take off your wellies. You then enter into the third stage of the airlock in your disposable underwear, the blow unit still running. You put back on the transit white coverall over the PPR 2000 belt. You also put the transit shoes back on. And then you go back to the dirty end of the decon unit. Part 5. In the decon unit, you still leave the blower unit running. You remove the transit shoes and the transit white coveralls, rolling it down inside out and disposing of it in a bin bag. You remove the disposable underwear and throw them in the bin bag. You enter the shower area, leaving the mask on and holding the running PPR 2000. You shower the mask using plenty of soap. You turn off the PPR 2000 unit by disconnecting the battery. You can now take off the mask and remove the filter. You quickly replace the red cap over the battery connection. You wash the filter carefully. The filter should be placed in the sink before disposing of it in the correct manner. Remove the motor from the mask before washing the mask inside out. You can then hang the mask. You can remove the PPR 2000 battery and leave it on the side. You clean the belt and put it on a hanger. You finish showering using liquid soap and then move to the clean area of the decon unit, taking your equipment with you. Once you get dressed, you start drying your equipment. You spend sufficient time on the mast drying thoroughly with a disposable towel on both the outside and the inside. You let the mast dry on the hanger while you move the rest of the PPR 2000 kit. You dry the PPR 2000 battery before putting it back onto charge in the locker with the provided charger. You also dry the motor, the battery connection and the belt. You proceed to a final inspection of the mask, the seal, harness, visor, oronasal and motor, checking for the presence of the exhalation valve before putting the mask back in its storage box. You report any issue if found. You also check the battery before putting it back onto charge in the locker with the provided charger. You finish packing the rest of your equipment, including the flow meter. You take your storage box with you and leave the decon unit.